Have you ever wondered why your restaurant isn't as busy as it used to be or as busy as other people's restaurants? Worry not, for I've taken time to make some analysis and I'll be giving you certain tips and tricks that if you apply in your business, you are going to be attracting a lot of customers, therefore making a lot of money. What I'm about to say right now will shock you go-getters, for a lot of people do this. Someone will happily locate their restaurant in a place free of any restaurant and they are very so happy to be the only restaurant there. And at times they don't know that that place hasn't got a restaurant because people there at times don't really need restaurants. I know you might be confused at this stage, but let me explain something to you. Before building my own house, I used to rent in a quarter called Maichu. So Maichu residential areas in Cameroon are one of the most suitable places to live in because once people get their lands there, they have their land titles and everything is facilitated for them. So those quarters are generally filled with people who are well to do. So what I noticed living in that quarter is the fact that those people don't actually eat out. They eat in their homes and they don't need restaurants around because if at all they need to eat out of their homes, they do that in restaurants that are in proximity to their offices, which are located in town. So once they come back to their neighborhood, they don't go out for anything, be it drinks or food, they don't buy. So I noticed that those who made the mistake of opening restaurants in that quarter ended up shutting them down as soon as they started. So here's the trick. Look at it this way. If there's no restaurant in a place, that is an indication to you that there are no customers there. The mistake people do is that they shy away from places where they find one or two restaurants, thinking that the competition is too much and they might not get enough clients, which is actually the contrary. Once you see a place with 1, 2, or 3 restaurants and you constantly see people keen up there to eat, if you are a smart goal-getter, take that as an indication that that place is good for a restaurant and there are actually a lot of people there to serve. As a good entrepreneur, you shouldn't be scared of competition, but rather take competition as your own way of evaluating the success of your business. Because if you've got competitors and you succeed in outsmarting them or making more sales, that is a confirmation to you that you are actually good at what you are doing. A good business is one that stands the test of time, no matter the amount of competition it faces. Second reason why your restaurant business might be failing is inconsistency at the level of quality. You know, when it comes to a restaurant, the quality of your food is the first thing that determines the success of your business. Have you ever gone to a restaurant and really enjoyed their food and went and maybe bragged about the restaurant to your friends or your family members, and once you take them to that same restaurant some other day, you don't recognize the taste of the food you bragged so much about? The taste is completely different and you even feel embarrassed advertising that restaurant in the first place. This is due to inconsistency at the level of measurements and whatnot. So what I would advise you do, or what I would do if I were to start a restaurant today, is to standardize my recipes. So what I simply mean is that you should have a recipe documentation wherein you document all your selected dishes and how you want them prepared. You ensure that all dishes have detailed recipe and preparation instructions. There is this saying that in the food industry, you are only as good as your last meal. If you succeed in getting your food to always taste the same way, people are never going to be disappointed because whenever they come to your place, your meal will always taste the same and consequently, they are going to keep getting satisfied. And that's how you're going to be getting referrals. Another thing you should do is that if you aren't the one doing the cooking and you've got staff taking care of that for you, you should make sure that you conduct regular quality checks. You need to be performing regular taste tests and quality checks from time to time in order to make sure that your food is always up to standards, in order to always have your customers satisfied with the same taste. The second thing I would adopt is staff training. Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. If you are actually involved in a restaurant business and you want it to be a success, you need to constantly launch training programs for your staff in order to educate them on the standards you want them to offer in your restaurant. Train your kitchen staff and your service staff on everything you want them to do. That is your expectations. Train them on that, because there's no way they are going to get into your mind and produce exactly what you want. Talking at times to staff isn't enough, but when they know that it is some sort of a formal training they are going through, they take it seriously. Even if your staff is actually trained in professional schools, you need to conduct regular refresher courses with them, for it is the only way they are going to keep adding value to themselves and therefore providing value in your institution. The third thing I will practice, or that I propose as a solution, is feedback mechanism. Customer feedback in any business is key. So what I would advise you do is to encourage your customers to provide you with feedback on how your food tastes or how they would love your food to be, and act on it promptly. Also give room for internal feedback. That is, create a system in your restaurant where your staff can equally report issues or propose solutions that would improve the business. That leads us to the next reason why restaurants do fail, and which is to me one of the most important. This is something that doesn't apply only to restaurants, but basically to any business that you want to launch. And if you guessed it right, I am talking here of customer service. That is poor customer service. This is something we suffer a lot with in Africa. If I want to recount the horrible customer services I've had to experience here in Cameroon, the list will be endless. So this is some point, goal-getter, that I want you to take very, very seriously. Now, I will begin by saying that at times, poor customer service doesn't only come from untrained staff as we think. There is something that I have noticed that also in the long run leads to poor customer service, which is overtrained staff. When your staff work a lot that they don't have even a breathing space or 1 minute for them to maybe relax, stretch their feet, or maybe, I don't know, just try to create an environment where there could be productivity and little bit of rest at the same time. Talking about this, I remember this documentary that I watched on the Google office. There's this YouTuber or who made a video showing us how the Google company is structured. I actually saw rooms with beds where staff can actually go and lay down and rest. I saw fitness hall, good restaurants, coffee areas. In fact, the place was so comfortable and at the same time very, very convenient for productivity for the staff. Now, this is something that I know that everyone cannot afford, but what I want to say is that when you hire people to work for you, you need to at the same time know that you are dealing with human beings, right? Try to ask yourself, this thing I'm expecting from this staff, can I be capable of doing that? Can I be capable of being that productive? I am put in such conditions. At times, it is important to constantly ask such questions to yourself so that you can in turn know how to treat your staff. That was just an aside, right? Now, going back to the bad customer service on its own, let's trash it. Now, there is no need talking about horrible customer service here because the list is endless. I once went to this restaurant with my hubby. That's the only example I'm going to talk about here for the sake of the video, not to be too long. Now, we went to this restaurant. The service was so good. What amazed me the most was the fact that it was equally a lady, because we commonly know that ladies or females are the ones who mostly misbehave when it comes to customer service. But this one, it was a lady as well, and she was so nice, so concerned. She would constantly come and check on us and ask if everything is okay, if we need something else. She would constantly check to make sure that the table is okay. There's no drop of water or drop of drink that spilled on the table. She would constantly wipe the table and make sure everything is clean till we left. Mark your goal getter, the customer service was so good that I would constantly tell my hubby that I want us to go back to that restaurant just because of the way I felt that day. I was treated so good that I would always want to go there. At times, not even for the food, because honestly, the food was good, but that's not the only thing attracting me there. The customer service is something that I appreciate so much. Whenever I am treated very well in a place, I would always love to return there, and I would always love to recommend that place to other people. Now, the things I would propose as a solution to the customer service problem is to take the welfare of your employees as a priority. Because the truth is, an overworked worker often gets frustrated, and the frustration is understandable in such a case. Now, some could still misbehave because of their background training they've had, or because of their laziness and whatnot. The truth is, if you adopt what we would refer here to as competitive pay and benefits, you are sure going to make a difference in your restaurant. So I am talking here of fair wages or bonuses for overwork time and everything. If you apply that, you're going to definitely keep your staff motivated to do more without feeling as if it is a burden. Another thing you could do is to provide them with positive work environment. So what I mean by that is that you offer them a supportive environment wherein your staff feel valued and respected, because the fact that they are your staff doesn't mean that you would talk to them anyhow. As we always commonly see, most times they could maybe be going through a difficult time in their life, and you don't even care to know what's wrong with them or to know if they are okay. These are some little tricks that if you actually apply, you are going to have a very committed and happy staff. Thank you, go-getter. A happy staff makes a successful business. Now, another thing that you could do on your part to foster a good customer service in your restaurant is to create customer interaction trainings with your staff. All right, so you can do what we call the role-playing scenario, where one staff could act as a customer and the other acts as the service person. You can then teach them how you would want them to interact, or how they would welcome the customers, how they would go about servicing the customer and everything. And that's how they are going to learn exactly what you want them to know. You don't sit and just expect them to treat your customers the way you think, and once they make the mistakes, you start pouring your frustration and your anger on them. That's not a nice way to go about it. You can organize from time to time customer service workshops where you take the time to focus on communication, problem solving, and customer satisfaction. Take time to train them on how you want them to behave. I am laying emphasis on this point because I know most of the staff we employ in Africa right now are untrained staff. And some people could do that because the trained staff are not even many, they are scarce, and the few ones that exist, their services are so expensive that at times it's only big hotels or restaurants that could actually hire them. Now, if you are someone who is starting from somewhere and you are not that big and you still want to provide standards to your clients, this is actually a solution I am giving you right now. Do the work yourself on your staff in order to have the results you desire. So the last but not the least thing you could do to enhance good customer service in your restaurant is employee recognition. I'm talking here of a reward system. Implement a reward system to recognize and reward those staff that are going to produce outstanding customer service. That's another fun way to make sure that your staff take the bull by the horns. So go-getters, those are the things I would recommend you do to repair the poor customer service you are facing in your restaurant, if they are actually doing that out of all the reasons I cited. Now, there is another reason why your staff will misbehave, and it could be because of laziness or because of the fact that they are used to the monthly payment system that we actually practice in Cameroon and in most African countries. So I don't want this video to be too long. And if you want to know what to do about that part of customer service, why your staff will be behaving in a lazy manner and expect their salary, I've got a good solution for you that I actually detailedly covered in another video that I am going to be linking in the comment section. So do well to watch that video, and I am sure that if you apply it to your business, no matter the business, you are going to be having outstanding results. Now, the fourth reason why your restaurant might be failing is lack of marketing. One of the mistakes that people do when they start a restaurant is the fact that they maybe know that they know how to cook, they've got good recipes, and they rely solely on that for the success of their restaurant. No, a restaurant goes beyond that. In today's world, it takes a lot to succeed in a restaurant. I've seen restaurants that would actually incorporate a whole cabaret system or a karaoke something in their restaurant just to attract people to come to their restaurants and keep coming, because some people will love the food, yes, but it is at times not enough to maintain them, because there are other places where the food is good as well. So at times something extra goes a long way to make people keep coming to your restaurant. And that's where social media steps in, right? You've got a lot of social media platforms where in this day and time you can't own a restaurant without showcasing it there. Make good use of social media as much as possible. Influencers are there to help with their own platforms, showcase your restaurants and explain to people how good your food is, how good your service is, how good maybe if they play music in your place or there's a karaoke something, how good all of those things are. Those are all of the things that will go a long way to keep the old customers returning and to also bring you new customers. Look at it this way. If big companies like, let's say, Nido or MTN or whatever company you might think of still spend on marketing, still set aside huge budgets for advertising their products and putting themselves out there on people's faces, who are you with your little restaurant not to also go out there? What do you think you are that people will just come to you like that without you showcasing yourself, without you putting yourself out there to their faces? There are millions and millions of restaurants out there. So what is going to make your own restaurant special that people will just dream about you in their dreams and look for you? You need to put yourself out there. So if you have difficulty doing this, there are a lot of digital marketers out there. Get closer to them. Get a digital marketer to take care of your social media pages. Optimize your website with search engines to create very engaging and searchable content that people are going to search and find your beautiful pictures. All right, create engaging content around food and upload them online and optimize them very well to be searchable. And that's how a lot of people also are going to be capable of locating you. Right out of the Google map, right? Register your business and actually make it visible on the Google map, because nowadays if you want to do some business and succeed, make sure Google can actually locate you and share your location to people, because once you are visible on the Google map, you've got an advantage over your competitors who aren't visible on the Google search. Now organize promotions and events to attract people. You can do things like special offers. All right, we've got this thing that a lot of people commonly do, like happy hour 2-for-1 system, that is buy one take two, as we commonly say in Africa. And also there's this system that people make, adults pay but kids eat free. Yeah, those are certain strategies you can use to attract people. Or you can simply organize cooking classes to create a unique experience that people would experience, something different that they don't normally experience all the time. That is, make the whole experience fun and attractive to people. You can do community involvement. You see, when they organize like local sports events, charity programs, scholarship sponsorship. So those are some of the tips and tricks that you can actually practice to create brand awareness. So goal getters, the last but not the least point why your restaurant business is failing is the fact that you might be ignoring customer feedback. If you are that individual who doesn't take criticisms well or completely ignores customers' complaints, your business is doomed to fail. You need to understand that your customers are your surest way of improving, because they are going to tell you straight what they think, all right? Listen to them and address their issues promptly. If customers are complaining, for instance, that they feel a lot of salt in your food, take it seriously and with an open heart, all right? Don't be angry. Don't take it personally. Don't take it in a negative way. Be thankful that they even told you, all right, that they mentioned it, because if they don't say it, they will simply go away to other places. But if they say it and the next time they come, they see an improvement, it is a very satisfying feeling for them, because they are being heard. I can assure you, goal getter, that if you listen to your customers, your business must live from average to excellent. So what I would suggest you do is to create a customer-centric feedback system. Just try to create easy feedback channels where the customers can easily channel their frustrations. So you can open room for things like online reviews, where you encourage customers to leave their feedback. And this is something that a lot of apps use, right? Basically, all the apps we use, you would always see customer reviews somewhere down. If you go maybe to download, let's say WhatsApp, Yelp, or Tribe Advisor, you are going to see customer review there because this is important for the growth of their business. A lot of people would go ahead to download an app if they've gotten positive review under that app. So customer review is something that you shouldn't neglect at all. Another thing you could do is to provide feedback forms right in the restaurant. There should be a feedback form that your clients can actually fill and express themselves freely, how they think or how they've been treated or how the food tastes. Let them feel free to do that on a form. Also, you could implement a suggestion box or a review box where they could drop their forms therein after filling so that it isn't tampered with. One never knows, you might be dealing with maybe some Machiavellic staff that would maybe notice that a customer complained about them and they would normally get rid of that paper. So you create a box where you are the only person who can access that box. Now, after that, I would advise you always take a responsive action. Prompt response is key, go-getters. Once you've created a channel or a medium where your clients could lay their complaints or give their feedback, if you have that box I am talking about, for instance, always go constantly to that box to get the reviews and act promptly. You could do that daily, all right? You could just say that, okay, maybe every evening you go to that box and get the reviews or the complaints and go with them to your home and study them in order to actually respond also immediately, that is as soon as possible. You need to actually implement changes. So use their feedback to actually make tangible improvements to your menu, your service, and even the ambience as a whole in your institution. Here you go, getters. While doing that, also make sure to do it professionally, alright? Always remember that no matter what you do or say, the manner of approach is vital. Just the way you could feel bad getting a certain review from a customer is the same way that customer will feel bad getting a certain type of response from you. Now, there is also something that helps so much nowadays when it comes to poor customer service towards your clients, because you could do all this work, do all of these things I advise you to do, the workshops and everything with your staff, but they still remain adamant to change. They could be just simply stubborn and lazy, they don't want to work. You can solve this with cameras, all right? Install cameras in your restaurant so that whatever they do to a client, you have access to their real behavior, because there are some staff who would behave well when you are there, and once you turn your back, they are something else. So cameras will go a long way to always make you identify everything they do wrong in your restaurant. This is going to enable you to deal with them accordingly without them being capable of denying their actions. Another thing you could as well do, which is also very good, is to install a loyalty program for your clients. So those clients who keep coming to your restaurant and who keep patronizing your business, always try to reward them in one way or another. It could be maybe an extra free meal, or it could be maybe a discount on their next meal. That is, just do something that they will know that you appreciate them. So go-getters, there you have it. 5 things that if you adjust in your restaurant, you are going to definitely make it a success. Like I said, if you maintain consistency and provide high quality customer service for your clients, they are definitely going to keep coming back. Like I said, poor location, inconsistent quality, poor customer service, lack of marketing, and finally ignoring customers' feedback could just be some of the reasons why your restaurant is failing. But with the solutions I gave you, you can turn things around. Remember, every great restaurant started somewhere, and most times it's always with passion, dedication, and the right strategies that they make their restaurants thrive. If you found this video helpful, please go-getters, give it a thumbs up and endeavor to share it with your loved ones so that a lot of people can learn from this. That said, thanks for watching this video, as I will see you in my next one.